commentator Andrew Lound. Great to have you. So just start from the beginning in layman's terms. Just explain what this mission was about and why it has been successful.
Yes, good morning. Yeah, I mean, the principle is the Earth faces a threat from asteroids colliding with it, large ones, much larger than what we actually looked at in the other hours of this morning. For instance, 60 million years ago, an asteroid slammed into the Earth, which caused a climate change, which led to the extinction of the dinosaurs, which ironically enough led to the rise of mammals and us. So we owe our lives to their impact. But a future impact could lead to the extinction of our species and change the Earth considerably. So the aim is what on earth can we do about it, really, to mitigate this? And if we have enough notice, if an asteroid is heading towards us, we could perhaps deflect it, and we deflect it by crashing something into it. The whole idea is that the inertia from the spacecraft is transferred straight to the asteroid. A bit like when you're in your car and you slam your brakes on and you go flying forward. So you transfer that energy. And when you do that, you can actually deflect the asteroid away from us. And it will be a fraction of a degree, but with years and years notice, a fraction of a degree could turn out to be tens of thousands of kilometres where it would miss the Earth. And this mission was to test to see if we've got the physics right, if it could possibly be true. And we did it on a very small object. So you've got the main asteroid itself, Didymus, and its little moon Dimorphos. And the idea is, if we use a little bit of propery, if you've got the main asteroid here, you've got the little thing going around it, you crash into the little one, and then its orbit should be altered slightly. Now, if we've actually achieved that, if that's been actually achieved, then we've proven from a physics and mechanical point of view, we could, in principle, deflect something away that's heading towards the Earth, giving enough time and notice. And that's what this test was all about. And the test so far has been utterly spectacular. And now the difficult part is, or the hard part is the maths, where all the observatories around the world which have been observing it as well, we've got a new release of image from the Atlas project showing the actual flare and the cone of material coming away from it, is to see how much of a deflection has been placed on that asteroid. And from that, we can get a calculation then to give an estimate of what we need to do to deflect an asteroid which is very similar to this type, because all asteroids are actually quite different. Looking at what I've seen so far from the plume, there doesn't appear to have been any water or much water at all on this asteroid. It was just seen to be more of a rocky piece of material. And that's because there's no constant outgassing from it, for what we can see so far. And that does suggest, of course, that we're going to have some good data on the type of asteroid which could pose a threat to us.
Well, that is fascinating. And I mean, I'm someone that is really interested in the way in which we're trying to expand our understanding, of the universe and so on. I mean, and I don't want to sound like a party pooper or anything, but I do wonder, what about space junk? Because we've got all these satellites floating around the Earth, and if we're kind of smashing things into other things, that space junk could actually, cause potential problems for us in the future. And that often seems to be outside of the conversation.
You've made a very important point here, and that is fortunately, it is part of the conversation at the moment. Britain's been playing a big role in this with two designs to actually reduce space junk, working with the European Space Agency. The United States now are working very closely on a project to reduce space junk, because it is becoming the biggest threat to us. Modern satellites, when they're launched, have to have the ability to deorbit and to bring them back when they're not in use. Unfortunately, most of the satellites which are up there, which are the old ones are no longer usable, are still just drifting around up there. And of course there's bits which are broken up. There's been deliberate anti-satellite missile and laser tests to break satellites up and leave a load of debris up there, which is a great threat, especially if we're trying to do more work in low Earth orbit, or even perhaps going to the moon and Mars. We need to sort of clear up this junk, and there is a big project at the moment to try and sort that out, because you're absolutely right. Even a small fleck of paint travelling at 17,500 miles per hour, when that hits you, we're back to the inertia thing again. That energy is transferred.